Hey folks, LA here. I want to talk about some new ideas. I keep a watch list on TA Today for myself. Watch lists can actually be shared or private. This one's private. But essentially I just keep track of stocks that I don't want to forget about. I just throw them into my watch list. And so I thought I'd go over a few of those. Now the ones I'm going to go over are those that I have actually presented to TA Today members. I did it on 1/4 weekly report, so a couple of weeks ago, and that was one of the first ones. I basically said, these stocks, all of these look good and they look to continue. I mean, look at these uptrends. You came back, you were trying to do a retest, didn't quite get to it. That top there, 107.99, you got to 107 there, but you didn't get back into it again, and then it just took off when the market took off this week. But there's some others that actually gave decent opportunities. Here's another one that was reported, Vernova. I talked about this one. It was doing a retest regen, or it looked like it probably would. It had popped out. And I talked about it on 1/4 report. So the 1/6 here is the first day of trading after I talked about it. Came back, did the retest regen in this area here. You can see that again, it's these highs. Now you broke 3 of them. Now this is a daily, so you have to be a little careful, but if you go over and you look at it, you got a weekly breakout as well. That's at 357.09. You come back in, you test into it, right? This is the sort of action that you want. So I used to call this, and still do, I call it momentary weakness in an uptrend, right? So you make a nice move up, you do a consolidation, you come back and you break out, right? Then you come back quickly, do a retest, and then take off. And so those are the kinds of situations that you can time into, right, when the general market supports it. The general market is supporting this. Here's another one, Kratos. Kratos, same sort of situation that I just talked about. So if you go back here and look at this, here's your retest regen into these 2 swing point highs on a breakout, right? Again, that's on that 1/6 time frame that I talked about. So that was the breakout. There's your retest, there's your regenerate. Perfect, picture perfect. Here's another one. These are all in that report that I talked about. So this is Marvel Technology. Now it had already had the huge move up, so I basically was saying this is one to watch. You've got this range, anything inside this range is probably a buy towards the low end. Maybe you count that low end, maybe you don't. So not as good a situation in terms of a setup as the others. Let's see, here's another one, Roblox. This one actually was set up nicely as well. Here's your retest regen, that's the breakout, retest regen, regenerate, right? Nice uptrend. Now this I liked because on the long term this had broken out, right? So this has a long way to potentially run. You got a retest regen on this bar, so the top of it's there. There's your heavy resistance there. So another 10 points or so, not 10 points at this point, we're too far along, 66, so another 5 points at this point, but another good setup. If I keep going down the list, I've talked a lot about Bitcoin. We actually invested in Bitcoin, still are. You had all these lows down here, right? So this was kind of a quote-unquote dangerous idea if you were to break. You got the break, but what did it do? Reverse, kind of a pickaxe reversal, and then took off. The thing that I've been telling folks is that anything down in this lower range is the buy, right? You just buy it, and if you're wrong, you're going to have to stop out at some point. You have to decide how much risk you're willing to take, because if you look at it over here, right, that big spike up, top of it, that anchor bar is 93,434, got as low as 89, I believe 89,260. So it's 400, 4,000, but 4,000 on 100,000 is 4%. This thing moves, the delta on this thing, if we want to look at that, and what I'm talking about when I say deltas, I'm talking about how much does this thing normally move. Well, if you're looking at it on a daily basis or a weekly basis, you can go over here and you're getting a 3,000 point move on a daily weekly basis. So you just got to assume that's just noise, right? So if you move 4,000, that's really nothing. And so Bitcoin, again, nice setup. turned out to be a nice buy once it came back into that lower range again. And so I'll finish this video with one more. This is Solano. Solano, another altcoin. They have a good track record. You know, they were kind of the star the last time around with the altcoins. This is on a daily time frame. Here's your test. Right, look at your volumes. Don't have the volume to break it out. Hammer reversal, right? Take off. If you look at it on a weekly, what are you doing there? Well, your retest regen is in this area, right? Well within the area, doing what it's supposed to do, right? Blast off, or it hasn't really blasted off yet on the weekly, but you know, if you get above, it looks to me like this area right here, these two, right? So around 2, I would say this anchor bar is the important one, 228.69. You get above that, this thing's blast off. And if you look at it over here, you know, maybe you're a cup and handle kind of guy. This is your big cup and handle. Of course, you know, the measurement from here to here is like fantastic. So, you know, who knows if it's going to perform that way, but these are ideas, right? And these are ideas that can propel you, right, and your portfolio forward. If you've got ideas you'd like to share, ideas you want me to follow up on, just post them in the comments below. As far as the video itself, if you like what you see, give me a like and subscribe and hit the alert button, and that way you'll get updates when I give them. Have a great one. Take care. See you next time.